Hey everyone, welcome back. We got a new video. This one will be how to build ZAIROSS. But first, let me say free rune removal is coming up. If you're looking for a rune optimization, email me. My email is provided on my Twitch and on my YouTube channel. What I do request though is it is a paid service, so send me a photo of your box and what you're requesting for, and I'll let you know a quote. So I want to get that out of the way. For this series, ZAIROSS is the monster today, and keep in mind we are going to go through number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at the top of the screen. So the first question is, what is this monster? Number 2, counters. 3, use and purpose. 4, rune builds, and 5, stats to aim for. So what is this monster? So this monster is one of a kind, okay? If you got this in a blessing, you didn't pick it, you probably shit out of luck now, okay? It has a sick nasty 33% attack lead, universal. First skill does some mad damages. First skill does some mad damages. Second skill does AoE plus multi-hit and dots. So it counters things that I should wait for this. And then 3 is an AoE reset. Okay, this reset is the only AoE reset in the game, one of a kind, and that's why when people ask me, is there a replacement for ZAIROSS? The answer is no. There is no other monster. Poseidon is not just because Poseidon's a 33% lead doesn't mean it's the same. It needs to have fiery breath. So if you see another monster with fiery breath, then yes, it can replace ZAIROSS. So the big things that ZAIROSS counters in Arena specifically is this heavy meta with passives. Okay? And primary things you look at are things like Nemesis cutters, like Juno Praha. Don't want to get stripped, right? Don't want to have these stupid revives. Anything with a strong passive. Big culprit here is the Triana. Triana's a big thing that you want to blow up here because of how her kit works. If I can even find it, I don't even need to show you it. Also Windrude to an extent, but Windrude got changed now. But really the biggest things you want to do are the passive units can wreck your team, including a big one, Samoth. Okay, very big one right here. So for ZAIROSS, his second skill, because it's a multi-hit, will also counter a lot of Garos in cleaves if you decide to use it in cleave, okay? So the main purposes of the ZAIROSS is, I use mine in, so this is my build, and I use this build mainly for Arena and RTA. For RTA, it's really good as an AoE cleaver if you decide to run a Tiana team, and sometimes to a lesser extent the Draco Bella Jewel team. But it's very good when you pair ZAIROSS with a Tiana cleave team. And for Arena, your ZAIROSS, you always use ZAIROSS. I don't care if you see 4 water monsters, but more likely than not, you will use ZAIROSS against, ZAIROSS plus Tiana plus Galleon plus any other monster against every team, because that is how good the AoE reset is, okay? So if you got a box with a ZAIROSS, Tiana, Galleon +1, just use your ZAIROSS lead for every match, okay? Every match, it will work out. For rune builds, for ZAIROSS, it's one of the most flexible builds you can go. But keep in mind, the number one thing you want to do when you're trying to rune up your ZAIROSS is to be speed tuned with your attack bar booster, okay? And what I mean by attack bar booster is, if you decide to run, let's just say a ZAIROSS Tiana team, right? You have 1 attack bar booster, okay? Tiana is your single attack bar booster on this team. So her attack bar boost is 30%. You're not having Tiana plus a Bastet or Megan to give you double attack bar boost. So you need to be speed tuned to 1 attack bar booster, okay? Also applies to cleaving. If you decide to cleave with, let's say, Tiana Bastet ZAIROSS, must be tuned to 1 attack bar booster again, because if they ban your Bastet or if they ban your Tiana, you need to rune accordingly. And what I mean by that is, you see that Oasis Blessing only gives you a 25 attack percent gauge, while Tiana gives you 30. So for RTA, you have to rune your ZAIROSS so speed tuned to 25% gauge, not 30. Okay? Because you want the lowest one. Cannot just assume they will always ban your Tiana. Moving on, for specific runes, my favorite build for ZAIROSS is probably the Despair Will build. However, Despair will require very, very heavy rune requirements. I was not able to build a ZAIROSS with this type of speed on Despair because of my Despair runes are just bad. Okay, so if you have really good Despair runes and you're able to run a Despair Will ZAIROSS, go for it. If you're not able to, that's perfectly fine, because ZAIROSS, like I said, is one of the most flexible units, and what you're able to do is run it Swift, Despair, Full Broken, Shield Will, Focus runes, did I say Rage runes? Literally any damage dealer sets. But what I want to go in detail is more so the crit rate and the accuracy. Okay? So I like my ZAIROSS a little bit tanky, because if Samoth comes back alive and you miss the reset, I don't want to get blown out of the water. So that's why I have around plus 7k HP. Okay? But the biggest thing is, on slot 6, you can run a speed, crit damage, attack, or accuracy ZAIROSS. If you're not able to get, let's say, enough accuracy, slot 6 is perfectly fine with accuracy. You're not using your ZAIROSS as a full nuker. Your secondary unit is your full nuker. You're really using your ZAIROSS as an enabler to reset everything and do some damage with the Galleon. Okay? So keep that in mind. You don't need this to hit like a truck. Don't need 500 crit damage and 5,000 bonus attack. Okay? Don't need that. Just need it to reset the units that have a passive and let your other monsters clean up. Okay? So when I was running a Shield Will Cleave team with my Tiana, I ran mine on Focus, Will, and Shield. And I really liked the 40 accuracy mark. I even went as low as 25 and found the same success, because a lot of the times you really don't find people using resistance lead in arena unless it's like a Praha Nemesis healer, and I wouldn't even use ZAIROSS against that. But a lot of people use their Trianas for RTA, and they're built on a Will build, so they're not 100 resistance. RTA Vanessas are usually on defense, and they're not built on 100 resistance either. So I recommend you to have around the at least 25% accuracy mark. If you have 0, try to get it to at least like 1, 5%, something like that. A minimum roll anywhere. Having some accuracy is very good, because that's the kit. Okay? So once again, to summarize, be speed tuned. Very, very flexible builds, but make sure it needs to be on Will. It just needs to be on Will. You want to minimize the RNG, okay? And have enough accuracy to reset those passive units depending on what you're using it for. So that is the How to Build ZAIROSS series. Let me know in the chat or the comments below what monster you want to see next. And as always, if you're running damage dealers, I like them to be 85 crit rate. That way you always have elemental advantage against your opponent. But for Lucians, I really like them 100. And thanks for watching.